In the study of acoustics, there is a phenomenon called sympathetic resonance. If you place two violoncellos on opposite sides of a quiet room and heavily strike the lowest string on the first, the second instrument, completely untouched by human hands, will begin to vibrate in the dark. It does not choose to react. It does not ask for permission. The physics of the room demand it. For months, perhaps years, your body has been the untouched instrument. You walk through your beautifully curated life. You pour your morning coffee. You manage your business. You smile at the right times. You are grounded, solvent, and deeply rational. But beneath the floorboards of your daily existence, there is a relentless, heavy hum in your chest. You are vibrating at the exact frequency of someone who is not in the room. It is a profound psychological agony to play a duet entirely alone. Okay? You do not want a fairy tale. You do not want another vague promise from the universe telling you to simply hold on. You want your autonomy back. You want the hum to resolve. Listen to me closely. This invisible tether is not a cosmic joke. It is not a punishment for loving too deeply. It is architecture. In the clinical depths of Jungian psychology, a connection that completely defies logic and breaks the boundaries of time and space is never random. It is the activation of your unconscious. Today, we are deconstructing the code. When this specific biological and spiritual code activates within your psyche, it is the absolute marker that the final integration, the physical manifestation of this union, is imminent. But this code is not a message in the clouds. It is not a sudden epiphany from the sky. It is the brutal, beautiful withdrawal of your own projections. It is the mastery of emotional neutrality. It is the final, total integration of your shadow. To understand the solution to your exhaustion, we must first deeply understand the mechanics of the problem. We must look at this connection not through the lens of romance, but through the clinical, unyielding lens of spiritual physics. Why does this specific connection hurt so much? Why does it trigger a pain that feels ancient, almost primal? You have likely experienced standard heartbreak before. You know how to grieve a normal relationship. But this is different. This does not feel like losing a partner. It feels like a violent tearing of your own psychological fabric. It feels like an existential crisis. This profound agony exists because you are dealing with quantum entanglement and profound psychological mirroring. When you first met this person, your nervous system did not just register a physical attraction. It recognized a frequency it had been searching for since the exact moment of your birth. Your body remembered them before your mind even knew their name. But what exactly was your nervous system searching for? It was searching for the missing half of its own psychological architecture. Carl Jung, the pioneer of analytical psychology, called this the anima and the animus. These are the unconscious feminine and masculine energies that live dormant within every human psyche. For your entire life, you have carried a silent, invisible blueprint of your unintegrated self. You walked through the world as a fraction, completely unaware of the vast, uncharted territories of your own soul. And then, one day, the universe orchestrated a collision. You looked into the eyes of another human being, and you saw your own unconscious mind staring back at you. You saw your golden shadow, you saw your own divinity, perfectly housed in a different physical vessel. The immediate aftermath of this collision is absolute euphoria. For a fleeting moment, you experience the illusion of total completion. But here is where the devastating friction begins. When the anxious heart tries to pull this connection forward, a massive systemic shock occurs. You are the one who holds the space. You are the one who remembers the undeniable truth of the bond, and because you remember it, you desperately try to anchor it in physical reality. You pour your light, your focus, and your vital life force into them. You attempt to bridge the terrifying gap between you. You want to heal them. You want to fix the circumstances. You want to logically explain to them that you are meant to be together. But on a quantum level, energy cannot flow where there is resistance. You are applying immense energetic pressure to a system that is not yet built to sustain it. The unawakened counterpart feels this intense, overwhelming wave of energy, but their nervous system does not interpret this profound, unconditional love as safety. It interprets it as absolute annihilation. To merge with you in that unhealed state means the complete and total death of their ego. It means they can no longer hide behind their carefully constructed masks. It means they must instantly face every trauma, every insecurity, and every dark corner of their psyche they have spent a lifetime burying. The light you shine on them is simply too bright. It blinds them, and so the avoidant soul retreats. They pull back into the familiar comfort of their own shadows. They run back to karmic partners, to superficial distractions, or to the cold safety of their own isolation. They do not retreat because they do not care. They do not run because the connection meant nothing. They retreat because their nervous system is in a state of critical overload. They are protecting their incredibly fragile sense of self from the devastating weight of your shared reflection. They cannot hold the mirror anymore, and you are left standing in the cold. You are left holding the space for two people. You begin questioning your own intuition. You replay every conversation, wondering what microscopic thing you did wrong to cause such a sudden, violent withdrawal. You question your sanity, the cognitive dissonance of feeling them perfectly in the quantum field, yet being blocked by them in the physical world, slowly drives you to the edge of your emotional endurance. But you must hear this truth. You did nothing wrong. You could not have loved them better. You could not have said the perfect words to make them stay. This agonizing separation was woven directly into the design of your connection. It is not a failure. It is a necessary, calculated friction. The universe forcefully separates the two of you, because if you remain together in that unintegrated state, you would destroy each other. The separation strips away your codependency. It breaks your addiction to their presence. It is the brutal, masterful stroke of the universe, forcing you both to finally turn your gaze entirely inward. The mirror had to shatter so you could learn how to build your own light. Acknowledge the current state of your reality. You are trapped in an endless cycle of waiting. You check your phone. You look for signs in the physical world. You think the universe is endlessly testing your patience, but this is a fundamental misunderstanding of spiritual mechanics. You are currently trapped in the illusion of rejection. We must flip this script entirely. We must move your consciousness from the agonizing pain of rejection into the absolute reality of your own expansion. The final union you are so desperately waiting for does not begin with them. It does not begin with a sudden epiphany on their end. It does not begin with an apology or a late-night message. It begins exclusively with you. It begins with the activation of a specific, powerful psychological state. We call this state the code. It is a profound internal shift that permanently alters the quantum field around you. What exactly is this code? It is the absolute mastery of emotional neutrality. You must understand that this is not apathy. Apathy is a biological defense mechanism. Apathy is the fragile ego pretending it no longer cares to protect itself from further disappointment. Neutrality is entirely different. Neutrality is the absolute highest frequency of unconditional love. It is the state of total, unshakable surrender. Think of the fundamental laws of astrophysics. Think of gravity. The ocean does not chase the shore. The earth does not beg the moon to remain in its orbit. They do not experience anxiety about their connection. They simply exist in their own massive, undeniable weight. And the invisible force of gravity does the rest. For months, or perhaps years, you have been trying to defy gravity. You have been pushing. You have been pulling. You have been obsessively analyzing their behavior. You have been attempting to manipulate the physical world to force a spiritual outcome. This is exactly why you are profoundly exhausted. You are trying to manually operate a cosmic mechanism. The code activates the exact moment you finally stop pulling. It activates the moment you drop the rope entirely. This is a terrifying concept for the anxious heart. Your ego tells you that if you stop pulling, the connection will completely die. Your ego convinces you that your constant anxiety is the only thing keeping the bond alive. But the opposite is true. Your energetic anxiety is the very frequency repelling them. To reach this beautiful neutrality, you must execute a profound psychological shift. You must consciously reclaim all the energy you have projected onto this person. Carl Jung taught us about the phenomenon of the golden shadow. We are deeply conditioned to look at our beloved and see a God. We unconsciously project our own highest, most divine qualities onto them. We look at them and think they possess a magic that we lack. We believe they are the sole source of this radiant, intoxicating love. But they are not the source. You are the source. You are the generator of this profound, emotional depth. The overwhelming, earth-shattering love you feel for them is actually the dormant love you are finally capable of feeling for yourself. They simply acted as the physical mirror so you could finally see your own magnitude. When you finally process this truth, a strange and beautiful paradox occurs within your psyche. You suddenly stop caring if they ever return. You do not reach this elevated state through anger. You do not reach it through bitterness, resentment, or a forced attempt to move on. You reach it through an absolute, unshakable sense of inner peace. You look at the empty space beside you, and you no longer feel a terrifying void. You still love them. You will always love them. the unconditional nature of the bond remains completely intact. But the agonizing desperation evaporates. The heavy, suffocating weight in your chest simply dissolves. You no longer need them to complete you because you have finally undertaken the arduous task of completing yourself. You become entirely whole. This quiet internal realization is the exact moment the code activates. And the moment this happens, the architecture of your reality changes. The exact moment your nervous system drops into this permanent state of detached, peaceful neutrality, the quantum entanglement between the two of you violently shifts. The energetic cord that you have been pulling completely taut for years suddenly goes slack. The pressure drops into absolute zero. Across the city or across the world, the avoidant soul suddenly feels the total absence of your energetic pressure. They feel the sudden deafening silence, and in that new, vast, empty space, they are finally deprived of the distraction of your pursuit. Without your frantic energy holding them up, they lose their equilibrium. They are abruptly forced to sit in the quiet of their own mind. They must finally face their own shadow. The mirror flips, and this is exactly when the physical realignment finally begins. Understanding this psychological framework intellectually is merely the first step. Reading the theories of Carl Jung and analyzing the quantum mechanics of your connection will only take you to the threshold of the door. Embodying this truth is entirely different. Embodiment is the profound alchemy of turning intellectual knowledge into a physical and spiritual reality. If you are deeply exhausted from the endless cycle of waiting, you must make a conscious choice to step off the battlefield today. You must physically and energetically activate the internal code we have discussed. To do this, you must execute 3 specific, non-negotiable internal shifts. These are not passive concepts to simply think about. They are active daily practices of absolute psychological reclamation. The first shift is the complete and total withdrawal of your psychological projections. You must take the mirror down. For months or perhaps years, you have unconsciously assigned the role of your ultimate savior to this specific person. Every time you catch yourself thinking that they are the only one who truly understands the depth of your soul, you are projecting. Every time you believe they are your only source of profound, magical connection, you are actively giving your life force away. You must aggressively intercept these thoughts the exact moment they arise in your mind. You must visualize reaching out and physically pulling that golden, radiant energy back into your own chest. You must look at the empty space beside you and declare to yourself that they were simply reflecting your own magnificent depth. You are the absolute source of this profound love. When you successfully withdraw this projection, a miraculous thing happens. You immediately stop draining your own energy. You stop handing them the heavy, impossible keys to your emotional kingdom. You take your psychological power back. The second shift requires you to master your own biology through nervous system regulation. You cannot simply think your way into a state of union. You must physically regulate your way there. Right now, your physical body is likely addicted to the extreme biochemical fluctuations of this dynamic. You are biologically addicted to the massive cortisol and dopamine spikes of this connection. You intensely crave the euphoric highs of their sudden presence, and you barely survive the devastating, agonizing lows of their prolonged silence. This biological roller coaster keeps you trapped in a perpetual state of fight or flight. You must break this chemical addiction to the waiting. You must find your internal 0 point. This requires a ruthless, daily dedication to profound physical stillness. You must ground your physical vessel in the present, tangible world. Walk barefoot in the grass. Drink clean water. Breathe deeply and slowly into the very bottom of your stomach. You must consciously teach your cells that you are not in danger when you are alone. Force your body to understand that it is completely safe right here, right now, entirely independent of their validation. Move your consciousness out of the anxious, hypothetical future and anchor it firmly in the reality of the present moment. When your nervous system finally drops out of survival mode and into a state of deep, unshakable calm, your energetic signature permanently transforms. You stop being the frantic, exhausted chaser. You become a massive, undeniable energetic magnet. You become the gravity. The third and final shift is the execution of the inner marriage. You must deeply understand a fundamental spiritual law. The external union with your counterpart is only ever a physical byproduct of your own internal union. If you deeply identify as the anxious heart, you are likely operating from a wounded, unintegrated feminine energy. You are endlessly overgiving. You are perpetually waiting. You are constantly yielding your own boundaries to accommodate their sudden disappearances and inconsistent behavior. To heal this dynamic, you must fiercely integrate your inner masculine energy. You must build impenetrable emotional boundaries. You must turn your intense focus toward your own financial independence and worldly stability. You must dedicate yourself entirely to your own life purpose. You must create rigid, beautiful structure in your daily routine. Conversely, if you have spent your life operating from a rigid, hyper-logical state, always controlling the outcome and refusing to feel your own depth, you must integrate your inner feminine. You must allow yourself to aggressively rest. You must allow yourself to create art or beauty without tying it to a financial goal or a measurable outcome. You must soften your edges. You must consciously marry the anima and the animus within the quiet sanctuary of your own psyche. You must become the complete, unbroken circle. When you achieve this internal marriage, the illusion of separation instantly dissolves. You no longer need an external puzzle piece to fill a hollow void inside of your chest. The desperation is replaced by a quiet, knowing power. You stand entirely whole, completely sovereign, and absolutely ready for whatever the universe brings to your door. You are not crazy. The depth of what you feel is real. But the purpose of this connection was never to break you. It was to build you. It was to burn away everything that was not authentic until only the purest version of your soul remained. You do not need to wait anymore. You do not need to check your phone. You do not need to analyze their silence. Let them walk their path. Let them face their own shadow. They have their own work to do, and you cannot do it for them. Your only job now is to activate the code. Step into your absolute sovereignty. Drop into the quiet, powerful depths of your own ocean. Become so whole, so unshakable, and so at peace that the universe has no choice but to reflect that wholeness back to you. You are the architect of your reality. It is time to rest. It is time to come home to yourself. Until next time, walk in peace.